What's up, everyone? I know I said I might not go out for another ride before Christmas, but then again I might, and here I am. It's about 2 degrees, but feels a lot colder. Feels more like it's below zero. Thought I'd take a trip to the store and get my grandkids something else for Christmas. A little extra, a little stocking stuffer. He's got a creative mind, and he likes figuring stuff out, so I thought I'd go to the hardware store and get him a few odds and ends, you know, nuts and bolts, and I don't know, I'll figure it out. Stuff that he can link together, put together in creative ways. I think I'll do the same for my granddaughter. Even though she's a girl, she likes stuff like that too. And I think, personally, people put too much emphasis on gender, you know, with kids. Start typecasting them. Oh, she's a girl, she can't play with trucks and tools and put stuff together. Sure she can. She's pretty good at it. As adults, we get way too much stereotyping. Too many boxes people want to put us into. So we sure as hell shouldn't do that with kids. Start them out on the right foot. Well, here we are. Let's go see what we can find. Alrighty, I think we got a collection here. And I'll give you debit.
Oh, I saw you walking out there. Yeah. Oh, that was so nicely.
Well, mission accomplished. Right, so I got them each a selection of unique items. Stuff they've probably never come across in their young lives. One of them is 6 and the other one is 4. So just some things they can figure out and play with, connect to one another. Yeah, I grew up in the 50s, so it's good that things are changing in this business of putting genders in boxes. Because in the 50s it was big, you know. Women were relegated to certain roles, certain attitudes, certain limits, and men, just almost out of a consequence of that, they were locked into their role, and that became narrowly defined also because of that. So as women, well, as little girls that will grow up into women these days, have more freedom about what they can be exposed to and interested in. I think that that'll do women an awful lot of good, and it will free men from being in their box, you know, their duty-bound role. It's kind of strange. Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of younger people out there listening, but for people that grew up in the 50s as I did, you really can see the difference. And not that it was all men's fault, you know. I mean, I know a lot of women these days kind of feel that. Actually, I think I'll go straight. Kind of feel that, you know, they feel that well, it was men subjugating women and such, but you know, yeah, it was in some degree, you know. Of course, there were men that did that, but I think a lot of it was also just came out of practicality, you know. People in those days, they wanted a family of 4 or more. And how are you going to do that if the woman is going to have a career? So, I mean, throughout the centuries, you know, it made sense because the women were taking care of the children. They had to, right? I mean, they gave birth to them, so it was kind of a natural that the women would be in the nurturing role, and men, well, food had to be brought to the table, and that was the man's job. And so that just made sense. There was no other way it really could work then, you know. And then as we came into the 1900s and on into the era that I grew up in, the 50s and 60s, that thinking was still there, and to a large degree it was still practical, I think, you know. People still wanted that family of 4. And so that would take a big chunk of a woman's life, you know, taking care of, well, giving birth to and then taking care of these kids while the husband pulled in the dollars, food for the table. So it was still practical. But things have changed now, right? Things have changed. People want smaller families. We've got more automation in the home. A lot less time needs to be spent taking care of the home physically, and less kids to take care of. We have more systems in place for daycare, that type of thing, that weren't really in existence then. So now it's possible. Women can have careers and much more expanded roles, and with that comes a lot more personal freedom in every other respect, not just the ability to get out there and have a career. So we're getting there, but you know, it's no one's fault really. And I think men were almost as much of a victim as women were. Not really, but in a way, yeah. In a way. And now I think both sexes are going to benefit tremendously by the freedoms, the expanded roles. But it's going to take a while, right? It's going to take a while for this to sink in and be absorbed by men and women. I don't think a lot of women understand, because they're too young, how their role that they so much hate when they look at history happened. But if they could look back, you know, with understanding eyes, I think they'd see that. Anyway, here we are. So I got some hardware for the boy and for the girl. Awesome stuff. Well, I didn't come out to do a video on gender relations and the role of the sexes. But there you go. One thing leads to another, right? Anyway, you guys have a good one. Enjoy, ride safe, and I'll see you on another video.